morning, cadre. Saturday morning. We're going to continue with the Rockwell 6S. Yesterday I used plate number 4. And if you watched or read about that one, I think it's the best DE shave I have ever gotten. It was super smooth, dolphin skin BBS, with no alum sting whatsoever, so almost, I guess, somebody mentioned grail shave, and I guess that's it, right? You have awesome BBS and no irritation whatsoever, so there you go. First run out on the 6S, and I got a grail shave with it. We're going to be using plate 5 today. There's a total of 6 plate numbers, 3 plates, 2 sides to each plate with a different setting. So we shall see. It's almost like why mess with perfection, but when I did my video about pursuing BBS, I mentioned there are several levels of BBS, and to me, the ultimate, and I can't imagine anything closer, is the one I can get from the RX. I can, with the RX without stretching, I get a very smooth BBS. If I do skin stretching with the RX, which is, I don't think it's recommended nor necessary, but it just kind of like throwing gas on a fire. That one can get, I think, what Barber Dave would call BBS glass or something like that, but just ultra smooth. I think this has gotten me, it definitely got me closer than any other DE razor. So I'm going to see if going up in plates I can get, and I don't want to say get the same as an RX. I love the RX, but also doing it without irritation, that would be something else. Oh, I should show you now. I'll show you my soap. I remember after this pass. So it's interesting, there's more blade feel, but not in a harsh way. You know, everybody's face acts differently to different razors. Different blades act differently in different razors for everybody. And I guess the geometry of this razor with my shaving technique and my face in this blade is just firing on all the right cylinders. I'm sure it's been listed elsewhere, the blade gaps of the different plates. Like I said, I get a little bit more blade feel, but the smoothness is not affected at all. Again, just the first pass. So the soap, that covers pretty crazy. It's Warrior of Howling Fjord from Ariana and Evans. It's their club line. I should have smartened up a few orders sooner, but I love Ariana and Evans. Everything I've gotten from them, even if I don't care for the scents, I appreciate the strength of the scent. All their soaps lather easily into a beautiful lather, great performers. So I'm finding that I'm settling into actually just a few producers now, or At least that's my trend this year. I'm sure things will change over time, but I just kind of appreciate the the idea behind storybook soap works. I would have to say, scent-wise, I think I like Ariana and Evans better, but I like that Storybook is doing a little untraditional scents, and I don't know, just something about the whole their packaging, and they don't seem to play themselves up much. It just something hits me right with a Storybook. So I've got most of their scents. I didn't care for Shaken. I had a sample of that, so I did not buy that one. And I have not had any success with coffee scented soap, so I did not buy their coffee one. But they're one that I tend to track as I remember to hopefully catch any new soaps they have coming out. Our own CBL soaps. Funny, I would say I've narrowed down to Chris's soaps, even though I don't own a tub of his official release yet, and that's simply because there's a couple I would buy right now, but every one of them that he's going to be coming out with, I'm going to buy. So we'll see. I've almost pulled the trigger a couple of times just to get some inbound. Maybe I should do that. The shipping's not a big deal, but it just seemed to make sense to order them all at once. So Storybook, CBL soaps, and then A&E would be the third one. But again, not all of their scents apply to me. I haven't bought them all. That's fine. They've got more options than I'd want to have to order, but I finally joined their club because there were some club scents that sounded interesting to me. You save on buying the standard Ariana and Evans scents, so like I said, I should have done that a couple orders ago. But this one's interesting. From the label, I would have thought dark, strong, whatever. It's not that. I don't have the notes in front of me. I think there's a amber or musk at the end of the scent notes, but it's mostly citrus. And something else that I think that they do very well is blending their notes together, so you're not getting something that's just standing out and blowing away and the rest of the notes just don't make any sense. It's more of they've all blended together to make a new scent. So after the second pass, it was of course DFS. I didn't spend time seeing if I was BBS on the cheeks, but here we go. It's the third pass on the neck, which is the teller of if I could tolerate the shave every day on plate 5. And that's pretty good. Now, plate 4, I would say there is no irritation whatsoever. I think I could just keep making pass after pass over the same area and it would be fine. This one, it's almost there, but it feels more Still smoother than almost any DE I have. But, and it's not that it's irritating, but it's at that feeling like if I kept going, if I kept pursuing something here, it would get sore. So I can feel a touch more aggression than plate 4, but just to the point where you have to pay attention, not to the point where I couldn't use it every day. So putting a little soap and water on here to really evaluate BBS down to the last hair. Wow. So we are at the point again where this will dry down to BBS for sure. If you want to get nitpicky, I think there's like one little spot there. I'm going to grab it. That without pulling, without pressure, it felt just like the finest of sandpaper. But so now I'm really curious. I really want to get this comparing to the RX, which almost seems unfair. You're comparing a DE razor with a smaller and more flimsy blade to an SE razor with a bigger, stiffer blade. That just the blade itself is more aggressive. But we're gonna really go for this and use the pressure and see. What I'm looking for is after dry down, well, I guess not after dry down, when I put on the all my aftershave routine, if we're going to be smooth as glass. Now, like I said, we're going past BBS at this point. 2 levels of BBS, and the neck is awesome. So, and this is kind of the best news for me, is that no cleanup needed on the neck. Every now and again, I would hit that with other razors, and just some kind of like potluck that I know I could get BBS, but usually that's after some cleanup on the neck. This is 2 shaves in a row with the 6S, where I didn't need cleanup on the neck, and even to get as smooth as possible, pressure and stuff, there's nothing to go after down there. Story told. Somebody asked me if that's a rad ender. I don't need any more razors. And the answer is guarantee. Well, I take that back. Sorry, I'm grabbing a towel down here. Dry off the alum. I don't know. How do you answer that? Nobody needs any. As long as you've got one razor that gets the job done, you don't need one, right? In terms of getting the best razor for your face and best shaves and stuff, I would say extremely likely. Not that I wouldn't get another razor just out of curiosity, or it's pretty, or and that's the weird thing, isn't it? Even if I'll get a few more shaves into the 6S and see if it's possible to even dial that in even more for my face. But I know some of you guys will use the same stuff every day. Most of us change things up, and in some ways, especially with the razor, that's a little weird, isn't it? If you've got this razor that gives you the best shave, the least irritation, why would you pick another one and want what technically would be a lesser shave from that, if it's not as close, as smooth? Because we're crazy. Because it's not about excuse me, it's not about just the end result, it's about the experience, and we don't want the same experience every day or it gets boring. I'll show you my brush. I've shown this one before. Custom brush I had made, synthetic knot. So we did the alum, there's lemon. Only like the lemon. I've tried the cucumber. What else is out there? Some other scent. A lot of guys use lavender. I really dislike the scent of lavender. Almost not lavender itself, but lavender products, just because they tend to use too much, and then I don't like it. I think there's a rose out there. Same thing. I think I've had overkill of rose at some point, and just don't want any rose scents at all. So that was shave number 3 with the feather. If I wasn't playing around with this, I actually might take it a little further. There's been a lot of discussion on how long you can shave with one blade, and that is extremely user dependent also in philosophy. Some people like myself change them very early because we don't want to even feel it starting to degrade. They're so cheap. To me, that knocks 1 point off the shave experience, so I do that. I'm also convinced it has to do with facial hair. There's an online poll for feather blades, which is what's in here. How many shaves can you get out of it? And actually, the majority of people are 2 to 4. There was a small number of shaves like myself. I think because they're so sharp, and if you want that experience, that super sharpness only lasts for so long. But there are people that will 7, 14, 20 shaves out of not just this but almost any blade, and so I'm convinced that part of that is, again, philosophy, but part just the hair. If your hair, it can be thick in terms of density of growth, but the individual hairs might be not as thick, and so it doesn't wear down your blade as much. And also with the other, if your hairs are a little bit sparser, so you have half as many hairs as somebody else, it's going to dull a little bit less. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to say, well, I got 10 shaves, anybody should be able to do that. But regardless, the point was, normally I change it out after 3 shaves. I'm going to change it out and try plate 6 tomorrow, because this actually went just fine. But if I was not messing around learning it, this shave went so smoothly, so well, I might see if I could get more shaves out of the blade. So, going back to the Nivea 2-in-1. And here we go. Let's see how the skin feels. Oh. Yeah, that is, we are smooth. I think to do a fair test, I might have to do one with balm. That's where you get that glass feeling where you're just sliding over ice or something. I hate to say it, but I think this shave is on par with the RX. Which makes me sad a little bit, because the RX held in high esteem. But I guess that's fine. Now I've got a SE razor and a DE razor that on a daily basis will give me amazing shaves. So thank you guys. I didn't talk a lot about the soap. I can do that another time. Like I said, the scent notes are mostly citrus with a little warmness behind it, and I don't actually know if I can tell you much more than that. I really enjoy it. And what's weird now is I almost get like I don't want to say it, almost a chocolate note. And when everybody says chocolate, I've smelled, again, chocolate products, and they just smell awful. Like you can't reproduce the smell of chocolate very well. But it's almost like they weren't trying to reproduce the smell of chocolate, and something combined in the back end. And I'm sure somebody else that smelled this would know exactly what that is and say, that's not chocolate, that's this, and my brain is just connecting the two. But anyway, the other thing is, watch for this. It's likely that the sample will end up on the soap sample swap. So again, it gives you a chance to try some soaps before you buy them, or also soaps that you can't buy if you just want to experience them you have that opportunity. Some unobtainiums, because they're no longer made, are on there, and come check it out. So I'll see you on the Cadre, www.theshavingcadre.com, and catch you on the forums.